Again, I'm sorry for it being a bit of a more chaotic update. I'm not the type to finish one area and then move on to the next.
Oops. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Polderpark, where today we're taking a look at an actual new area after 3 episodes. I left behind Amber Alley and the main street for a bit. Don't worry, we are going to come back to those because they aren't finished yet. But I wanted to move on to something different for at least a little bit. And since I teased it last episode, I have mostly finished the western area, which I did end up turning the river rapids into. I wanted to use pirates for a while, but A, they're not coming for a bit, and B, like a few of you have already said in the comments on the previous episodes, western is just such a classic cheap park theme, or just something that basically every park had back in the day, because it was one of the most, well, popular things back then, and it was also some kind of recognizable. People weren't really looking for heavy stories or I don't know, lore for parks or for park themed areas. They just wanted to understand everything and have fun, and I think Western really loans itself to that. Now, I want to give you a little tour around the area. It isn't completely finished, but it is done pretty much, like, I'd say 80%, well, 70, 80, depending on what I end up wanting to add to it. I should start with this little area, though. You can see this is where Amber Alley kind of ends, with the Watson's Air Trainer there, or Flight Trainer, I'm sorry. In between these two areas, I decided to put a little playground area. This wasn't made by me. It was slightly edited, but wasn't made by me. It's originally made by Lertz, or Lertz, I'm hoping I'm saying that right, on the workshop. They did a great job of creating a few different playground pieces, which, as you can see, also move, which adds a bit of life to the area. I did add a few paths here so people can walk there, but they don't do it as often. But yeah, I wanted to add some kind of filler, also because a lot of the area I have now is kind of thrill seeker focused. With like heavy rides and coasters and stuff like that. And yes, it's family oriented, but if you have a kid that's like 4 years old, they're gonna have nowhere to do, or they're gonna have nothing to do. So I wanted to add at least a few spots where they would be able to entertain themselves. And after that, we're basically immediately moving into the western area. Now, I've got this side path here which goes by the lake. I'll get to that in a bit, but this is completely unfinished right now, even though apparently staff is allowed to go there. Fine. But this stairway leads to the main area of this western theme, where you can see the river rapids I showed you last time meandering through the rock work that is put in the meantime. Now, I have to admit that I did mention that I wanted to keep this park a bit low budget. This is far from low budget. It's actually quite high budget. I think Disney has even less accurate, or like less detailed rock work on Big Thunder Mountain. But I don't know, I kind of got carried away with this, and I kind of let the budget theme go. I've also kind of told myself that this is the first project. I'm still learning the game, let's not forget that. Still kind of playing around with what's able to be done in this game. So I kind of loosened the brakes on myself a little bit. Yes, it's not going to be the highest and fastest coasters, but let's just focus on what I want to make and what's fun to build, and I think that this is one of those. Starting on the left, and the least interesting part, this little hidden toilet block. I don't know about you, but I keep forgetting that people need to use the toilets, so I keep forgetting to put those in my parks, so I want to get that done. I'm not going to go full Yan BK and do the interiors for all my toilets as well. Mainly because also I've noticed that with the park being as it is, I've already got a lot less frames per second than I would have liked to have. So I'm not cutting down on theming, but I'm trying to be mindful and kind of picking my battles with a toilet not being that important and this view being more important to put pieces into before I run out of computer space or performance to run this park. I'm really hoping the video still looks okay, but I already have a lot less performance than I would like. But yeah, so we've got a little toilet block here in the corner with just a little resting area. Then there's the centerpiece, this water tower. I wanted to go for a, well, quite cliche Western vibe. So it's all just, hey, look at this. This is wooden and could be from a mining company or could be from the Wild West. Let's just plop it down in the middle here. And that's obviously what they've done with this water tower. Now, there's a little interactive element here. I've seen a few people do these, and I really think they're cool. With the display sequencers, you can actually activate them from first person. So if you're walking through the park, you can activate them. And the same goes for these guns with the big red button. If you activate them, they will shoot the water tower, and it will let out a stream of water for a while. So you can splash the riders if you time it right. Same for that one, goes a little different, but if we shoot this one now, you can see that these riders are going to get completely soaked with the little jet of water. They don't react, but they are. I wanted to get that little interactive element in there. I had just regular, like, water spouts here, but aiming everything at that water tower and not making it interactive just felt like a wasted opportunity. So, yeah, I wanted to get that in there. Moving on, I put these canopies here, both because I feel like this piece is really versatile, and also because realistically it needs guests need shade. Not only, I think there's actually a game mechanic now with the pools and stuff that people need shade to be able to stay in your park, but in real life as well, you want to have areas that are covered. You want to have areas that provide shade when it's hot, and in the Netherlands, realistically, that provide covering when it's raining. So I just wanted to plop those down and provide at least a little bit of shading and a little bit of cover, and it also breaks up the monotony of this path a bit. But then we get to the entrance of the rapids, which is called Journey to Cidhna Mine. Now, there are probably a lot of people who will immediately recognize that name of Cidhna Mine, and might even recognize the name of the gold mining company that houses in there. It is a reference to something. Again, just with the last time, I'm going to leave the references to the comments. Leave your comments below if you get it.
Hey, you.
But yeah, I was thinking of a name for the mines that popped into my head, and I just thought, yeah, why not give it that name? So yeah, this is themed after a gold mine. Now, the original Cidhna Mine is a silver mine, but it's, I mean, the gold rush in the Western, again, with the cliche theming, I felt that just fit a little better. Going through the entrance, you can actually see the gold stuck in all the rock work here. I really like the fact that these rocks can be sized down a lot, or sized up a lot, because it made a lot of the rock work easier to do, but you can just add little details like this without having to hide a giant rock somewhere else. So yeah, the queue takes you quite close to the rapids, actually, especially in this area. You can see them going up, and then here you can actually see them go over this part, which will show in a bit. I wanted to add the gold carts. I mean, again, it's so cliche, but yeah, having just mine carts full of gold tipped over and strewn about really makes it feel like you're in a mining area. And I also like the fact that you get such good views of the water ride in this area, with it passing so close and it just really captivating your attention and dominating the area around you. Same with this part. It's just, this tunnel just looms over everything, or this mining shaft, I guess. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. I saw it on one of the pictures I used as reference, and I thought I'd replicate it. But yeah, just the lift hill and the shaft that's looming over it. It really encapsulates you when you're walking around here. So here as well, just a little switchback style queue that's currently not in use. People are walking around with the rapids being right behind this wall. Now realistically, this would probably be a nightmare because water would rot the wood and it would be splashing over guests and they'd get annoyed and stuff like that. But, well, I mean, there's at least sort of realism in my parks, but this just felt like a really cool opportunity to have it this close to the guests, especially with the queue and being able to look over this edge and into the boats and see everything that's happening. I can imagine children peeking over this edge, trying to see what's going on while they're waiting. And it gives you a real good view of the boats leaving the station and dropping into the river. Going on, I just put on, again, the most cliche mining decorations. Pickaxes and shovels, people, they save every theme when it comes to Western stuff. And then this little overhang area leading into the station. Now, something I'm still mad about is the fact that we can't remove the rails on the station. Oh, I really hope you're able to see this, by the way, because it's really dark in here. But yeah, there's still these black rails, you can see them a bit through here, that are on the station platform, which are just not logical and ugly, and I wanted to cover them up, so I used the planks. So they're also used for the surrounding the rapids over there. But yeah, ideally I wouldn't have them there. But other than that, I just plopped down more stuff. Again, some rope spools, some crates. Here's the base for something, I don't know, some mining equipment. It's really saying nothing, but yeah, it's there and it's decorated. Now, same goes for the rest of the station. I wanted to, I had an idea, my girlfriend actually had an idea of turning this into a kind of mining tavern where where the miners would like come after hours and they'd have a few drinks and stuff like that, but in the end, I chose not to do that because I felt it was more suited to be the theme for a restaurant in the area. So I just turned it into this generic shed where, yeah, it's just the start of the mining place, and I don't know, it's Western, it's wooden, it kind of sells the vibe, and I think that's more than enough for the park as well. That's probably all they were going for. They don't know how Western stuff works, or they don't do the research into the storylines or what's realistic or not. They just want to have a vibe and sell the vibe and be able to promote it as a Western area. So yeah, that's kind of where I drew the line as well. Ropes with lanterns on them. Do they realistically do stuff like this? No. Does it look semi-Western to an untrained eye? Yes, and that's all that matters for the park like this. Now, for the rafts, I actually think they've turned out quite cool. I added these wooden battens around the outside to make them look a little less modern, even though they still have the, like, geometric seats inside of them. Luckily, there's already the ropes on there, which do help, but I just woodened them up a little bit. Added these pickaxes on the outside, again, to make them look like mining vehicles of some sorts. I don't know. And then the coolest detail, which, yeah, that's what I thought. Next boat. The coolest detail, I think, is the little barrel in the middle with the lantern on top. Now that we can attach stuff to rides, for those of you that don't know, the lights do still work as like dynamic lights once you attach them to a vehicle. So this will actually light up its area around it. And I haven't done a lot of lighting yet in this park, especially not in this area. But it does look really cool at night when, like, you can see little balls of light going through the river as the boats pass by, and you can see them journeying on on their voyage. So yeah, let's have a ride on this. I think I can do that through here. Yes, thank you so much. Let's have a little look. I have to tell you, I didn't put any story in this ride, apart from like, oh, it's a gold mine. There's no big bad, there's no storyline, there's no pre-show, there's just, it's a Western area, and that's your storyline. And I guess the same kind of goes for the whole structure and stuff like that. It's not like it's some sort of fallen mine that's been haunted, or I mean, there's 1,000 ways you could go with a story like that. There's nothing of that sort here. It's just a rapids in a Western theme, which goes up this tunnel with, well, holes in the roof and lattice work that's broken off on the side. And other than that, it's just a regular old rapids ride. There we go. That was the first and most intense drop of this entire ride, so good to know that that's over. Oh boy, I'm getting dizzy already. I don't like these rides in real life, but they're just such a staple. Now, again, with this area, there's a lot of greenery here, which realistically there wouldn't probably be in the desert or the Wild West. But it's good that, or I'd like to think that they got some stuff wrong as well. Like I said, they don't do research, so they probably got some stuff wrong as well. Now, here's a guy menacingly laughing because he knows there's a rapids ahead, which goes down into the mine. Whoop. There we go. Not as big a splash as you'd expect, but hey, it works. And then you're out into the central kind of, well, meandering area where if you're unlucky, you'd get splashed by the water tower because people were shooting at it. Oh my gosh, the bobbing makes me really dizzy. And then there's a second lift hill. Now, I think that realistically with this ride system, this wouldn't really work or wouldn't really be done. Also, this woman's glasses just phase in and out of existence. This wouldn't realistically be done, this lift hill. But yeah, you need something to get you back on the station level after dropping into it. And then you pass down from, well, sort of Bridal Rock from Timu. Have a little gander on that. And then you're back at the station. It's not a particularly long ride, but I think with the big drop and the water elements and the waterfalls, that it does get you genuinely pretty wet if you're on this. So, oh boy. I think it's quite a nice rapids to have in the park. Now on this side of the station, I also just added random stuff on the walls. Of course, the are they called flywheels? No, that's something else. I don't know what they're called, like iron wheels on the walls, because yeah, it's Western, guys. Look at this. It's the Western stuff. That's basically all the thought that's gone into this, like lore-wise. And then there's just the exit ramp here, with again the mining company's sign on the roof. Now I did make sure to make the entire park accessible up until now, so if you're not able to go up the stairs for whatever reason, there is a way around it, and you can go up a slope here, and you can use the exit as an entrance if you aren't able to use the stairs that are in the queue. So you are able to get pretty much anywhere in the park, even if you're not able to use stairs. So yeah, that's the Rapids ride. Now, I'm gonna show you a bit of the backstage area in a bit, because I have actually fleshed that out, sort of, or at least given the illusion that it's fleshed out. But I want to start off by showing you this area first, because this is something that's still slightly work in progress. But yeah, I don't know, it's something I really wanted to add in here. I think it's easy to get hung up on like coasters and flat rides and stuff like that. Well, a real park also has, or pretty much always has, shows or other entertainment stuff, and I wanted to get a place in here for that. Now, I like to think that this is an amphitheater that changes its show once in a while, but I'm not really sure what this show would be right now. I just needed to think of something, and I thought of Big Buck's Adventure Show, which canonically might be, I don't know, one of the mascots for the park or something like that. I'm genuinely not sure. It's closed now, but I'm going to give you a bit of a backstage look, an exclusive, like, hop the rope look at what is going to become the amphitheater. Now, I have everything done when it comes to the seating and the canopy. I really like how this turned out. It's just, I don't know, it provides a nice little view of the what's it called, stage, I guess, or like show area, theater area. It looks really budget as well, with just the concrete slapped down and the benches, and then they wanted to add a canopy and they had to theme that sort of, so they added this stuff. But other than that, yeah, I really like how this turned out in the end. We've got some random props here as well, and then there's this stage access little stair where probably actors would come up at some point and do some audience work and stuff like that. Now, as you can see, the stage here is empty. I did play around with some props just to check how sidelines would be, because there's like a whole science to this kind of stuff, and which I'm not a master of by any means, so I'm just winging it. But yeah, I'm trying to kind of get a layout going. But yeah, I'm really proud of this little area. It really, I think it adds a little bit of realism to the park, rather than just having flat ride after flat ride or coaster after coaster. These kinds of areas, even though they're not functional in game yet, hint hint, Frontier, it's really cool to add them just to give the park a little bit more of life. Now moving on to the last area, this little ride, I don't know what it's called, but it just really had that old American Western feel to me. So I was thinking that this could be like the village square, and that you're dancing on the village square because there's some kind of party going on, hence the tent that's covering it. Something like that. This is far from done, as you can see also by the floor and the queue and stuff like that. But yeah, I wanted to add something of a flat ride in here as well. Now, I'm actually going to the wrong way for what I wanted to show you, because this little area, the little path by the water, there's going to be a few shops and facades here to kind of give the idea that there's a little mining town going on here. The little tavern I mentioned earlier is probably going to be around here as well, somewhere around here. And I am slightly debating whether or not I want to add something else to the western area, that I want to extend it more in this direction. Because a part of me wants to add a flat or a dark ride to this. Like a genuine tracked dark ride. Could be like some old fairground horror or haunted house that they bought up and rethemed, or it could be like a genuine high budget one. I'm not sure yet, or I'm not even sure that I am going to do it, but a part of me really wants to add it to this area as well. So yeah, this might get expanded a bit more, but for now this is the western area. Now, giving you a little flyover look, there we go. You can see that this area is quite compact, so to speak. It's really only this area that's pathing, where you can genuinely walk. So that's the reason I might want to expand it a bit more in this direction, add something here that's worth visiting, also as a way to close this off, but yeah, that could also be done with just a row of trees. But other than that, this area is quite compact. I did also add in a little bit of a backstage area here, just with some like old dilapidated service buildings which have been there for ages, and they're just to house the pumps or something like that for the ride. I want to try and get a backstage path going everywhere, so the same for this area. There's going to be I'm going to remove at least part of these trees and add like a backstage service area here. There's also going to be a bit of a backstage area here for the theater, because realistically there needs to be a place for props to be housed and for actors to change costumes and stuff like that. And then giving you an overview of the entire park, you can see that in relation to the rest of the park, it's about the same area as Amper Alley, I'd say, I guess. Even though Amper Alley has a bit more pathing, but it occupies about the same amount of space. Now, moving on to the other stuff I've done, the boardwalk hasn't changed a lot, except for the coaster. Oh, that wasn't my idea. I currently have this old wooden coaster standing here, because you wouldn't believe it, I actually succeeded in building a semi-realistic old wooden coaster. Now, for those of you that liked the RMC layout, I haven't done away with it. It's still here, even though it needs to be edited, because as someone said, this first element is slightly weird. But yeah, I have it still here. I also have a first attempt to add a wooden coaster here. This was actually modeled after, I think it's called Giant Dipper at Santa Monica Pier? I'm not sure. But just an old, like, genuine boardwalk coaster. I wanted to sort of recreate that and keep that same feeling to it. It also has this odd straight piece where it would have a station fly through. But it just didn't really fit in this area nicely. So I rebuilt another coaster here that does fit the area more. But I'm kind of debating whether or not I want to use this specific area for the coaster or not. Because if I just have a coaster like this and it goes, well, kind of parallel to this parking lot, I could extend the pier this way and have it like run along the pier in that direction. And if I do, then I have this area completely empty for, I don't know, maybe it would be another parking area, or maybe it would be service stuff, or maybe there's a dark ride there or something like that. I'll give you a quick ride on the coaster just to kind of show you that I did semi-succeed in creating one. It's slightly modeled after the olden wooden coasters of this world, especially the Boardwalk ones, where the drops aren't that steep. I kind of kept a maximum of, I think it was 40 degrees as my maximum up or down, or as my maximum slope both up and down. And it just goes out and back and just does a few hops, and it has a misplaced tunnel that nobody really likes, but it's there. And stuff like that. It's just this old quirky coaster. So yeah, I'm still debating whether or not I want to keep this or something like this, or if I want to RMC it, so to say, and have this RMC boardwalk style coaster in the park. As you can see, it's also a lot slower than the previous one. In general, I have the feeling that the coaster cam feels a bit slow as compared to what the coaster really does, because from the outside, this, like, pacing wise, looks completely realistic and great, apart from this low corner. But then in the coaster cam, it's really slow. So yeah, I'm not sure. So yeah, but that's really the only thing I've done in the boardwalk area. Nothing else here. Same goes for Amper Alley and the Plaza. Nothing's changed there. So the main addition for now is this western area, which I'm really proud of. This. It has a little weenie in the shaft tower with all the leading lines leading up to it. So it really does kind of provide a nice focal point for this area. So yeah, that's about it for today. I really hope you enjoyed this little look. I really hope I also was able to keep it slightly more concise and to the point than previous episodes, because they have been getting longer in runtime, and I don't want to end up making movies for you every week. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed yourself. Leave your feedback down in the comments below. I really like hearing from all you guys, both just people letting me know that they enjoyed the video and people dropping their ideas and their creations. I really like that interactivity, and being able to reply to you guys as well and kind of keep the conversation going after the video has gone up. So please do let me know everything you want to let me know in the comments below. As for now, thank you for watching, and I really hope to see you again soon. I'm gonna leave you with a few glamour shots here, and then I hope to be able to welcome you again to Polderpark next week. Take that with a grain of salt.